right, guys, so we're gonna get into my side control A game system. So let's start out saying I'm doing a knee cut pass from the guard. Typically when I'm passing the guard, one of my first go-to control points is to try to grab the wrists. So just pushing into the wrists and then sliding to the far side bicep or shoulder, blocking that with my forearm. Now as I come in, I stay low, pinning the wrist to the ground, and I'm gonna get my knee inside to control the bicep. Now I'm gonna start to work over the head. And this hand's gonna chop underneath of his elbow, so my elbow kind of pushes it up onto the hand. So that we're here, and now I can curl and pull this hand underneath and get that far side underhook. Once I got that underhook, I'm gonna base, and I'm gonna windshield wiper my feet so that I can control his bicep with the other leg. An important thing about this kind of control is to not curl your toes under, giving him the space to move that arm out, but keep it nice and tight. All right, point the toes and put your weight on it. So now that we have the crucifix position, we have a full split body control. He can't defend his neck very easily. So from here, I'm gonna make a fist, draw my knuckles along the jawline, turning his chin out, keeping my elbow up. And what this does is it keeps him from turning in. If I go like this, he can just keep turning back in. But when I keep my elbow up against the jawline, he tries to turn in. I block that as the wrist rolls in so I can cup the shoulder and then go for the bread covered choke. If in that process, I'm trying to get that bread cutter position, he lifts his chin to block it, I'll go thumb in behind the lapel. So thumb inside the lapel, behind the neck. And I'm gonna lean, angle towards his hip a little bit more so I can step over the head. And using my inner thigh, I'm gonna kickstart pushing his chin over the wrist to get that step over choke. If he's able to kind of turn in a little bit to avoid that, I'm gonna pull that out, base, drag him up to his side. So now we're moving in towards the Kimura position. So I can start to go for the Kimura lock. Boom. If he grabs his belt, usually in this scenario, I'm gonna trap that wrist to his body by grabbing his lapel or grabbing his pant leg, something right here that goes over top of his wrist. So my arm is over his wrist, and then I pull something over the wrist here, locking his wrist to his hip. Now I wanna block his elbow so he can't get this arm free. Once we have that arm trapped, I can go around the head. So he's down one arm for defending here. I can get my lapel grip, wedge my shin behind his neck so my knee is under my armpit. Now I'm just gonna sit back using my weight to get the lapel grip. If it's not working out quite the way I want, so let's just say we're here, I'm passing again, and I'm trying to fight, and I'm not getting his wrist pinned to the ground, or he gets his hand to my bicep. In a scenario like this, I'm gonna circle inside, go for the head control. And what I like to do right here is keep this far side shoulder locked down. So I bring this hand over the shoulder, and then I go palm to palm. Now I pass the guard. And I'm gonna go to both knees in this situation. I'm not trying to be heavy on the chest, I'm trying to be heavy on the shoulder, like that. So he feels pretty pinned to the ground right now. If he tries to shrimp out, he's pretty stuck, all right? From here, when the opportunity presents itself, I'm just gonna work up towards the head. I'm gonna extend this arm and then cut it back over the neck so that my elbow goes over the shoulder. And I put all the weight on my shoulder, on his chest, pinching my elbows together to get the vice choke. So as I'm controlling that far side shoulder, I just kind of creep up towards the head, and then we just go 1, 2. And I'm pulling his head into me right here and pushing with my shoulder, go shoulder to the chest, turning kind of into a scarf position, and we can finish the vice choke. If not that, I'm usually gonna transition to scarf position here. So what I'll do is I kind of sprawl towards the head and I just go here. Staying heavy on the shoulder all the time. So as I'm here, like that. Hug the head, grab the elbow, hip into the armpit. I'm gonna grab my inner thigh, and now it's just lean over the solar plexus until all their air is gone, and that's usually when they're gonna tap. That's a slow choke. Usually you tuck, they'll squirm, they'll move around, but once all their air is gone and they can't get it back, that's when they tap. If I'm having trouble there for some reason, I might pin this down, rotate the wrists, and then go for the figure 4 shoulder lock here. The key for this move is to separate the arm, the head from the arm, and then arch up. Makes the arm way less flexible. So another game that I'll play is, maybe I'm passing the guard once again, and he's kind of got this arm across here, and we're in a scenario more like this, okay? So again, I'm gonna try to circle in at least and get to the head, but now he's got the inside frame. So I didn't really win that underhook battle. He's got that frame here. So in this scenario, to make his frame useless, I'm just gonna go ahead and pass the head, keep that elbow pulling towards the knee, switch my hips. So my hip goes to his shoulder now, and then we're gonna block the inside hip, all right? Now this frame doesn't really have much value anymore, all right? Sometimes they might end up bringing it back around to the other side, and that's just gonna put me right back in this game here. I'll go here, I'll pin this wrist down, and I'll do some of those things that I've already done. Anytime that happens, I'll usually go to that arm isolation. But what I'm gonna try to set up right now is I'm gonna grab not the inside hip, but the far side knee. And sometimes when you do this, it baits that underhook. They want to get that underhook because it's open. So now that it gets the underhook, I'm going to go straight for the whizzer, like this, and try to cup the neck, right here, okay? And now, I want to put my elbow to the back of his head. He's going to try to look away from me. Look up, head back like that, make it hard to suck the head in. Get the elbow to the tip of the head, and you'll be stronger to get it in. So now I'm starting to move towards Darce choke or Darce choke variations or neckties, anything here. So if he has the arm on the outer hip, that's usually gonna be a shallow Darce. It's hard to get a full bicep grip in that scenario. So you're gonna cup the shoulder and cup your wrists, keeping the elbow glued to the back of his head. Now I wanna feed a half guard position. Doesn't really matter if it's his bottom leg or his top leg that a hook, or even both sometimes. Just hook a leg, all right? Cross your ankles, and now I lean on the head and then over the head towards the mat to finish the choke. I could also do the necktie variation where I just grab the 4 fingers, pinch the elbows. This time I fall over the head completely, putting the back of his head to my belly, and now I drive the hips in as I pull. But if I'm able to pass this arm all the way to the inside by sprawling and shoving it through, I can go in for a deep Darce choke right here and get the finish like so. That's my typical A game from side control. As I'm passing the guard, I'm almost always going to find myself in one of those situations. So I'm going to be here, where I'm going for the crucifix position, or if he grabs my bicep, I go for his head, and we lock down the far shoulder. Or if he has an inside frame, I'm going to go over and switch to here and start to work that underhook game. All right, so then you'll find yourself passing different ways, but you almost always find yourself in one of those situations. So that's what I get good at, is those 3 pathways, and then I try to get really good at combining them together and using them together so that I always know what I'm trying to do as far as controlling and attacking my opponent. And you keep practicing an A-game system like that, you get better and better at the attacks. It's going to be hard for people to stop you. Eventually, they'll get better and better at defending and escaping, but that's only going to help you make your A-game better.